Welcome back to the channel, US Rare Coins News, Top 1. Today we are talking about a coin that millions of people have seen, but almost nobody realizes it could be hiding real value. The 1974 Eisenhower $1 might look like just another old dollar coin, but some of these have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. And the surprising part? Many people still have them sitting in drawers, jars, or old collections without knowing what to look for. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why the 1974 Eisenhower dollar is so interesting, the rare details collectors hunt for, and a few hidden varieties that can turn an ordinary coin into a serious collector's item. If you've ever found one of these coins, you'll definitely want to watch until the end, because the last detail might completely change how you look at this coin. Take a look at the coin itself. On the front, you'll see the bold portrait of President Dwight D. Eisenhower. His strong profile faces left, with the word Liberty above his head and the date 1974 below. Around the edge you'll notice the phrase "In God We Trust." When the camera zooms in closer, the detail in Eisenhower's hair and the sharp lines of the portrait really stand out. Now flip the coin over. The reverse design shows a powerful eagle landing on the moon, holding an olive branch. Earth appears in the background above the eagle. This design was actually inspired by the Apollo 11 mission patch, making the coin a tribute to one of the most important moments in space exploration. United States of America curves around the top, while $1 sits boldly at the bottom. At first glance, it might just seem like a big, heavy dollar coin. But here's where things start to get interesting. The 1974 Eisenhower dollar was minted in huge numbers at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and there were also special proof versions made in San Francisco. Because so many were produced, most of them are only worth a few dollars today. But collectors know that certain versions and conditions can make this coin far more valuable. Let's start with condition. If you find a 1974 Eisenhower dollar that looks shiny, with almost no scratches and very sharp details, it could be in what collectors call mint state. Coins in top mint state grades can sell for hundreds of dollars at auction. The difference between a worn coin and a pristine one can be dramatic. Now here's something many people don't know. Some 1974 Eisenhower dollars have striking errors that make them extremely collectible. For example, there are coins with doubled lettering, where parts of the design appear slightly duplicated. On a close-up shot, you might notice the letters in Liberty or the numbers in the date showing a subtle doubling effect. There are also off-center strikes. That happens when the coin blank isn't perfectly aligned when it's struck by the minting press. The result is a coin where part of the design is missing and the blank edge is visible. These unusual pieces can catch the attention of collectors immediately. Another thing to look for is proof coins from San Francisco. These coins usually have a mirror-like surface and much sharper detail. If you see a small S mint mark under Eisenhower's neck and the coin has a deep, reflective shine, it could be a proof strike. Some high-grade proof examples have sold for impressive prices, but here's the part that surprises a lot of people. Even regular 1974 Eisenhower dollars in exceptional condition have sold at auction for several $100s. And certain high-grade or rare error examples have reached prices over $1,000 depending on quality and rarity. Imagine finding one of these coins in a box of old change and realizing it's worth far more than $1. So now I'm curious. Do you own a 1974 Eisenhower dollar? Or have you ever checked your old coins to see if you might have something valuable hiding there? Coin collecting is full of surprises like this. A coin that looks ordinary can turn out to have a fascinating story, historical meaning, and sometimes real market value. The 1974 Eisenhower $1 represents a unique moment in American coin history. It honors a president, celebrates the space age, and reminds collectors that even modern coins can hold hidden treasures. Top 2. Today we are looking at a coin that many people ignore, yet some collectors are willing to pay serious money for it. The 1972 D. Eisenhower $1. At first glance it just looks like a big, heavy dollar coin from the 1970s. But here's the twist, certain versions and high-grade examples of this coin have quietly sold for hundreds of dollars, and a few collectors still search for them in rolls and old collections today. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what makes the 1972 D. Eisenhower dollar special, the details collectors look for, and a few hidden things that could make your coin worth much more than $1. And make sure you stay until the end, because the final value of this coin in top condition might surprise you. Take a close look at the coin. When the camera zooms in on the front, you'll see the portrait of President Dwight D. Eisenhower facing left. His profile is bold and strong, filling most of the coin. Above his head is the word Liberty, and just below his neck you'll see the year 1972. If you look carefully near the date, you'll notice a tiny letter, D. That small mint mark tells us this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. Now flip the coin over. This is where the design becomes really interesting. The reverse shows an eagle landing on the moon, wings spread wide while holding an olive branch. In the background, you can see the Earth floating above the horizon of the moon. It's a powerful design inspired by the Apollo 11 mission patch, celebrating the moment humans first landed on the moon. When the camera moves closer to the eagle and the lunar surface, the details really stand out. The feathers, the craters, the shape of the Earth in the distance. It's a design packed with symbolism and history. Now here's something many people don't realize. The 1972 D. Eisenhower dollar was produced in large numbers. Millions of them were made. Because of that, most circulated coins you find today are worth only a few dollars. But collectors know that condition and small minting details can make a huge difference. That if you find a 1972 D. Eisenhower dollar that looks bright, sharp, and almost untouched, it could be what collectors call mint state. In this condition, the coin has very little wear, strong luster, and clear details in Eisenhower's hair and the eagle's feathers, and this is where things start getting interesting. High-grade examples of the 1972 D. Eisenhower dollar are surprisingly hard to find. Many coins from this year were poorly struck or heavily used in circulation. So when collectors discover a beautifully preserved one, it instantly becomes much more desirable. Now let's talk about errors, because this is one of the most exciting parts of coin collecting. Some 1972 D. Eisenhower dollars show striking errors such as doubled letters, off-center strikes, or die cracks. When the camera zooms in on the date or the word Liberty, you might notice slight doubling or unusual lines caused by the minting process. These errors happen during production, and collectors love them because they make the coin unique. No two error coins look exactly the same. Another detail to watch is the overall strike quality. Some Denver minted coins have softer details, especially on the eagle and the moon surface. But when you find one with a strong strike and brilliant luster, it stands out immediately to collectors. Now let's talk about value, because this is the part everyone wants to know. A typical circulated 1972 D. Eisenhower dollar is usually worth between $2 and $5. Coins in better uncirculated condition can sell for around $20 to $50 depending on their quality, but when you reach the highest mint state grades, the numbers change dramatically. Exceptional examples graded at the top of the scale have sold at auction for several $100s. Some of the finest known pieces have reached prices around $1,000 or more when collectors compete for them. Not bad for a coin that many people once spent like regular pocket change. So here's a question for you. Do you have a 1972 D. Eisenhower dollar somewhere in your collection, or maybe in an old jar of coins? And if you could add any rare coin to your collection, which one would it be? The fun part about coin collecting is that history, art, and hidden value all come together in something small enough to fit in your hand. The 1972 D. Eisenhower $1 is a perfect example of that. A coin created to honor a president and celebrate the space age, yet still full of surprises for collectors today. Top 3. Today we are looking at a small golden coin that many people have seen, but very few realize it can actually be worth far more than $1. The 2000 D gold $1 might look like ordinary pocket change, yet some collectors search for this coin because certain versions and high-grade examples can bring surprisingly strong prices. Now here's the interesting part. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what makes the 2000 D dollar special, the tiny details collectors look for, and a few rare errors that can turn this little golden coin into a serious collector's piece. And stay with me until the end, because the real auction value of a top-quality example might surprise you. Let's start by taking a close look at the coin itself. When the camera zooms in on the front, you'll see the portrait of Sacagawea, the Native American woman who helped guide the famous Lewis and Clark expedition across the American frontier. Her expression is calm and confident, and on her back you'll notice her infant son, Jean Baptiste. The word liberty appears on the left side, while the year 2000 sits to the right. That if the camera moves a little closer to the date, you'll notice a small letter just below it. That tiny D mint mark tells us this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. Millions of these coins were produced there during the first year of the Sacagawea Dollar series. Now flip the coin over. The reverse design shows a soaring eagle surrounded by 17 stars. Each star represents one of the states in the United States at the time of the Lewis and Clark expedition. The eagle looks powerful and elegant, wings fully extended as it flies across the center of the coin. Around the edge you'll see the words United States of America and $1. When the camera slowly pans across the coin, the golden color really stands out. Many people assume this coin is made of gold, but here's a fun fact. It actually isn't real gold. The coin is made mostly of copper with a special manganese brass outer layer that gives it that bright golden color, but this is where the story gets more interesting. When the Sacagawea dollar was introduced in the year 2000, the United States Mint hoped it would become widely used in everyday transactions. Millions of coins were produced and released into circulation. However, the coin never became as popular as expected, which means many people simply stored them away or forgot about them. Because of that, collectors today search for high-quality examples from the first year, especially coins from the Denver Mint. Now let's talk about errors, because this is where things can get exciting. Some 2000 D Sacagawea dollars show minting mistakes like doubled letters, die cracks, or slightly off-center strikes. When the camera zooms in on the words Liberty or the eagle's feathers, you might notice unusual lines or slight doubling caused during the minting process. These small details may look tiny, but collectors pay close attention to them. A unique error can turn a simple coin into something much more collectible. Another thing to watch for is the coin's condition. Many Sacagawea dollars entered circulation quickly and picked up scratches or wear. But if you find one that still has strong golden luster, sharp edges, and almost no marks, it could be what collectors call a high mint state coin, and coins in that condition are much harder to find than people expect. Now let's talk about value. A typical circulated 2000 D Sacagawea dollar is usually worth about $1 to $3 today. Coins that remain uncirculated with strong luster can sell for around $10 to $30 depending on quality, but the highest grade examples graded by professional services can reach much higher prices. Some top-quality 2000 D Sacagawea dollars have sold at auction for a few $100s, especially when collectors compete for the best preserved coins. That's quite a jump for a coin many people once treated as simple spare change. So now I'm curious. Do you own a Sacagawea dollar from the year 2000? Maybe you've seen one in your change before. And if you could add any rare coin to your collection, which one would it be? The 2000 D Gold $1 tells an interesting story. It honors an important historical figure, celebrates exploration, and reminds collectors that even modern coins can hide unexpected value. Top 4. Today we are looking at a golden coin that many people have seen in their change, but almost nobody stops to check closely. The 2000 P Gold $1 might look like a simple dollar coin, yet some versions of it have caught the attention of collectors and sold for far more than $1, and here's where it gets interesting. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why the 2000 P Sacagawea dollar became one of the most talked about modern coins, the tiny details collectors search for, and a few surprising varieties that can make this coin much more valuable. Stay with me until the end, because the real auction value of certain examples might completely change the way you look at this coin. Let's start by taking a close look at the coin. When the camera zooms in on the front, you'll see the portrait of Sacagawea, the Native American woman who played a crucial role in guiding the Lewis and Clark expedition across the American frontier. Her expression is calm but determined. On her back is her infant son, Jean Baptiste, wrapped in a cradleboard. The word Liberty appears on the left side of the coin. On the right side you'll see the year 2000. If the camera moves just a little closer to the date, you'll notice a small letter, P. That tiny mint mark tells us this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Now flip the coin over. The reverse design shows a powerful eagle flying forward with its wings fully spread. Around the eagle you'll see 17 stars, representing the number of states in the United States during the Lewis and Clark expedition. The words United States of America curve around the top, while $1 appears boldly at the bottom. When the camera slowly pans across the surface, the golden color stands out immediately. But here's a fun fact that surprises many people. Even though it looks like gold, the coin isn't actually made of gold. It's made mostly of copper with a special manganese brass coating that gives it that bright golden appearance. Now here's where the story takes an interesting turn. When this coin was first released in the year 2000, the US Mint promoted it heavily. Millions of these coins were produced and sent into circulation. But the Sacagawea dollar never became as widely used as expected, which means many people simply stored them away or forgot about them, and that created an opportunity for collectors. Some 2000 p Sacagawea dollars show unusual minting errors that make them highly collectible. For example, certain coins have doubled letters where parts of the design appear slightly duplicated. When the camera zooms in on the word Liberty or the eagle's feathers, you might notice small details that look a little different from a normal strike. There are also coins with die cracks or off-center strikes. These mistakes happen during the minting process, and collectors love them because they make each coin unique. A tiny minting error can turn an ordinary coin into a sought-after collectible, but there's another reason the 2000 p Sacagawea dollar became famous among collectors. Some early coins from the Philadelphia Mint were struck with very strong detail and beautiful golden luster. When a coin from this year survives in near-perfect condition, with sharp edges and very few marks, collectors consider it a high-grade example, and those high-grade coins can bring surprising prices. Let's talk about the value, because this is the part everyone wants to know. A typical circulated 2000 p Sacagawea dollar is usually worth about $1 to $3 today. Uncirculated examples with good luster can sell for around $10 to $40 depending on their condition, but the finest graded coins are much harder to find. Some top-quality examples have sold at auction for a few $100s when collectors compete for the best preserved pieces. Not bad for a coin many people once treated like ordinary change. So now I want to ask you something. Have you ever found a Sacagawea dollar in your pocket or coin jar? And if you could choose any rare coin to add to your collection, which one would it be? Coins like the 2000 p gold $1 remind us that even modern coins can carry history, beautiful design, and hidden value. What looks ordinary today might become a collector's treasure tomorrow. Top 5. Today we are looking at a coin that many people have held in their hands, spent without thinking, and never imagined it might be worth far more than 50 cents. The 1972 D. Kennedy half dollar is one of those coins that seems ordinary at first glance, yet collectors know some of these pieces can bring surprisingly strong prices, and here's the part that makes it even more interesting. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what makes the 1972 D. Kennedy half dollar special, the small details collectors search for, and a few rare minting errors that can turn this everyday coin into a real collector's prize. Stick with me until the end, because the auction value of the best examples might surprise you. Let's start by taking a close look at the coin. When the camera zooms in on the front, you'll see the familiar portrait of President John F. Kennedy facing left. The design is bold and clean. Above his head is the word Liberty stretching across the top of the coin. Just below his chin you'll see the date, 1972. And if the camera moves a little closer to the area near the date, you'll notice a small letter, D. That tiny mark tells us this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The Kennedy half dollar was first introduced in 1964, shortly after President Kennedy's assassination. Americans wanted a lasting tribute to the president, and the U.S. Mint moved quickly to create this coin. When it was first released, people lined up at banks across the country just to get one. Now flip the coin over and take a look at the reverse. The back design shows the presidential seal. A powerful eagle spreads its wings wide, holding an olive branch in one claw and arrows in the other. Above the eagle are 13 stars arranged in a circle. Around the edge you'll see United States of America and half dollar. When the camera slowly pans across the eagle, the details stand out. The feathers, the shield on the eagle's chest, and the tiny stars above its head. It's a design that feels strong and patriotic. Now here's something many people don't realize. By 1972, the silver had already been removed from most half dollars. Earlier coins from the 1960s contained silver, but the 1972D version is made mostly from copper and nickel. Because of that, many people assume these coins aren't worth collecting, but collectors know the story isn't that simple. Millions of 1972D Kennedy half dollars were produced, which means many examples are still around today. Most circulated coins you find might only be worth a few dollars. But condition changes everything. That if you find one with bright luster, strong detail, and very few scratches, it might be an uncirculated coin. When the camera zooms in on Kennedy's hair and the eagle's feathers, you should see sharp lines and clear texture. Coins like that are much harder to find than people think, and then there are the errors. Some 1972D Kennedy half dollars show small minting mistakes that collectors love. For example, there can be doubled letters in words like liberty or in God we trust. When you look closely during a macro shot, parts of the letters may appear slightly doubled. Other coins show die cracks, where thin raised lines appear across the design. These happen when the minting die begins to wear or crack during production. Each error is unique, and collectors enjoy hunting for them. There are also off-center strikes and weak strikes where parts of the design appear slightly shifted or softer than normal. These details might look small, but in the coin collecting world they can make a big difference, and this is where things get interesting. High-grade 1972D Kennedy half dollars are surprisingly difficult to find. Many coins from this era were heavily used in circulation, so finding one that still looks nearly perfect can be a real discovery. Now let's talk about value. A typical circulated 1972D Kennedy half dollar is usually worth about 50 cents to $2 today. Uncirculated examples with good luster can sell for around $10 to $30 depending on their quality, but the finest known coins graded at the highest mint state levels have sold at auction for several $100s. In rare cases, top examples have approached or exceeded $1,000 when collectors compete for the best condition pieces. That's a huge jump for a coin many people once spent on a soda or a bus ride. So now I'm curious. Do you have any Kennedy half dollars in your collection? Maybe you've seen a 1972D before and never thought twice about it. And if you could add one rare coin to your collection, which one would it be? The 1972D Kennedy half dollar is a great reminder that even common coins can hold surprises. A piece of history, a tribute to a president, and sometimes a hidden collectible waiting to be discovered. Top 6. Today we are looking at a coin that millions of people once carried in their pockets, but many had no idea it contained real silver and could actually be worth much more than 50 cents. The 1967 Kennedy half dollar might seem like a normal old coin, yet some of these have become very desirable among collectors. Now here's what makes this coin really interesting. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why the 1967 Kennedy half dollar still attracts attention today, the small details collectors look for, and a few unusual errors that can make certain examples much more valuable. And stick around until the end, because the value of the best coins from this year might surprise you. Let's start by taking a close look at the coin itself. When the camera zooms in on the front, you'll see the well-known portrait of President John F. Kennedy facing left. His hair is detailed and textured, and the design has a strong, dignified look. Across the top of the coin you'll see the word Liberty. Just below Kennedy's neck is the date, 1967. On the right side of the portrait you'll notice the phrase "In God we trust." That if the camera slowly moves across the surface of the coin, you'll notice something else. The color has a slightly soft silver tone, different from modern copper-nickel coins. Now flip the coin over. The reverse design shows the presidential seal. A large eagle spreads its wings across the center of the coin, holding arrows in one claw and an olive branch in the other. Above the eagle is a ring of stars, and around the outer edge you'll see United States of America and half dollar. When the camera zooms closer to the eagle, the details really stand out. The feathers, the shield on its chest, and the tiny stars above its head. It's one of the most recognizable coin designs in American history, but here's where the story gets interesting. The 1967 Kennedy half dollar was produced during a very unusual time in U.S. coin history. In the mid-1960s, the price of silver was rising quickly. People started hoarding silver coins, and the government worried there wouldn't be enough coins for circulation. To deal with the shortage, the U.S. Mint removed mint marks from coins between 1965 and 1967. That means the 1967 Kennedy half-dollar does not show a mint mark at all, even though it was produced at different mint facilities. This small detail makes the coin stand out historically. It represents a short and unique moment when the mint was trying to stop collectors and investors from hoarding coins. Now here's another important detail. The 1967 Kennedy half-dollar still contains silver. It's made with 40% silver, which means the metal inside the coin already gives it more value than its 50-cent face value, but collectors don't just look at the silver content. They also pay close attention to condition. That if you find a 1967 half-dollar that still has strong shine and very few marks, it could be an uncirculated coin. When the camera zooms in on Kennedy's hair and the eagle's wings, sharp details and bright luster are good signs, and then there are the errors. Some 1967 Kennedy half-dollars show doubled lettering or design elements caused by the minting process. When the camera focuses closely on Liberty or the numbers in the date, you might see slight doubling or unusual thickness in the letters. There are also die cracks and other striking errors that collectors find fascinating. These small differences make certain coins stand out from the millions that were produced. Now let's talk about value, because this is the part many people are curious about. Because the coin contains 40% silver, even worn examples usually sell for several dollars, often depending on the current silver price. Many circulated coins sell in the range of about $4 to $10. Uncirculated examples with strong luster and minimal marks can sell for $20 to $50 or more. And the highest quality coins graded at the top mint state levels have sold at auction for several $100s when collectors compete for the finest pieces. That's a pretty big difference from the 50 cents printed on the coin. So let me ask you something. Have you ever found a Kennedy half-dollar in your change or in an old coin jar? And if you could add one historic coin to your collection, which one would it be? The 1967 Kennedy half-dollar is more than just spare change. It's a piece of American history, created during a time when silver coins were disappearing from everyday life. And for collectors today, it's still a fascinating coin to search for. If you enjoyed learning about this coin, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. And before you go, check out the next video on the channel, because the next coin we explore might be hiding in your collection right now.